almost everyone in Hollywood, almost everyone in the record business. I don't know, to be honest, I think it's funny, I don't really, I'm not much of a, I maybe said this before, I'm not much of a people person. In doing my blog, it's one of the few places where being incredibly selfish is actually very positive. Because I'm not really, when I'm taking a picture of someone, like I don't really put their names down. Rarely do I put the people's names down because it's just not that important. I'm taking a picture of someone. It's my perception of who they are. I'm taking it the way I'm taking it because I want to be able to look at, I want to enjoy the picture. So it's my selfishness that's actually very generous in the sense that, I share the picture, I'm trying to take a nice picture of them, but I'm doing it for totally selfish reasons. And one of the things I think people misunderstand on the blog is just because I take a picture of someone doesn't mean they have great personal style. I mean, I don't know these people. Most of them I've never met before. Maybe there's just one thing in the look that I really love, and that's all I want to focus on. And I try and shoot it in a way that highlights that. But, I don't really have a lot of people. I'm just not judgmental that way. And I think that sincerity, comes through in the blog. I mean, to me, it really doesn't matter who they are. It's not that I don't want to shoot people in Hollywood or models or musicians. If I ran into 20 musicians in a row, then I'll look great, I'd shoot them. But that just rarely ever happens. I don't really fall into that. But for me, it's much, much more abstract. Yeah, I think Tony Randall on The Odd Couple always looked great. I always thought he looked really cool. I don't think fashion's really changed much in the last 5 years. I mean, the system is the system. If it was really going to change in a major way, now would have been the time to do it. So many companies are closing, but they're not really changing their method of how they do it. They're jumping on the new hot thing, whatever it is. Right now it's blogs. Who knows what it's going to be next, holograms or whatever. And I think a lot of companies are closing, which is great. I think we're way too oversaturated. Too many brands, too many stores, too many labels. So, if it was going to change, now would be the time to do it, but it's not really changing that much. Shipping's not changing. I'd love to see a time when, when it actually gets cold is when winter clothes hit the store, as opposed to the winter clothes hit the store always on the hottest day in August is when all the winter clothes hit. So I think because of technology and because of this kind of speed of digital internet and everything, it will change soon because smart designers, young designers are going to be able to start showing their collection in a much wider audience and ship those products closer to the real time. They won't need Vogue and all these other places. They have to work so far in advance to promote their fashion because they'll be able to do it right, themselves through the internet, right to their audience, and be able to ship the clothes accordingly to that audience. And I think there's a day very soon where you'll be able to get some kind of digital printout of your body and have the clothes made for your shape. It'll be a new age of tailoring, and it's definitely more than 5 years off, but I don't think it's a really far away. I think it's definitely in the near future, and that will really change the fashion system, in the sense that you won't just have all this excess of clothes and things shipped so early because you need X amount of time to sell. Hopefully it'll become much more efficient, much more effective if you're actually making clothes that fit people and clothes that people are ordering and want, as opposed to trying to guess what they might want. My readers are located everywhere. One of the things that I knew about doing a photo-driven blog was that you didn't have to read English to be able to enjoy the photographs. There were elements of people that are looking at it for the fashion content. There's an element of people that kind of like to live vicariously through all these different crazy places I'm going. There's an element that likes to share their fashion idea. Maybe, they had always dreamed of becoming a fashion designer and moving to New York or Milan, but for whatever reason, a family reason or whatever, they weren't able to do that. So they're stuck in Wisconsin or wherever they are, and this is their chance to kind of be in that community a little bit, share their comments, look at fashion, share it with an audience. One of the things I'm very proud of is we've been able to create an audience that's respectful, that you can talk about your fashion ideas, what you like, what you don't like, in a respectful form. So with that said, I think it's all over the place. I mean, all I know is right now when I travel and I do these book tours, you know, we always get a really, really good turnout and a very varied audience. You know, men, women, young, old, rich, poor. The audience very much looks like the photographs in my blog, photographs in my book, which is something I'm very proud of.